Capital News tonight. Somalian businessman charged with economic sabotage. Ebola has killed over 1,200 people in the DRC. Sevilla promises good football when they play Simba tomorrow. Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. A Somalian businessman, Mr. Bashir Hachi Afra, has been taken to Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court and listened as the charges of economic sabotage which he stands accused of were being read to him.
The 56-year-old accused, Bashir Hachi Afra, who lives in Nairobi, Kenya, listened as his charges were read before the resident chief magistrate, Janet Mtega. The state prosecutor, Wanko Simon, told the court that Mr. Abushiri, who was an oil businessman in the country between 2015 and 2018, intentionally avoided paying tax, which is worth more than 1 billion shillings, to the Tanzania Revenue Authority, the TRA. With regards to the second charge, the accused has been charged with economic sabotage after causing the TRA to suffer an estimated loss of more than 8 billion shillings, which was a sum of money that he neglected to pay as tax. With regards to the third charge, the accused has been charged with money laundering, a charge that goes against the law of money laundering, number 12 of 2016. The defendant is accused of acquiring around 8,107 million shillings, even though he knew that the money was the product of his efforts to avoid paying tax. In spite of that, the Somalian businessman, who was represented by the attorneys Elifuraha and Majaliwa, was not required to answer to anything. This is due to the fact that the Kisutu court does not have the jurisdiction to preside over such a case of economic sabotage. The accused was returned to remand custody as no bail is offered in cases of economic sabotage. Meanwhile, investigations into the case are ongoing. The case is also scheduled to come up for another mention at the Kisutu court on June 4th this year.
Members of the Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania have told the government to see how they can detail what type of nets are supposed to be used for fishing, as this is a matter that has been causing significant discourse and loss to fishermen, and that if necessary, they must see how they will compensate those whose nets have already been burnt by the government.
On the issue of size of fish nets, you told us that fishing activities should use 3 inches nets. People didn't accept the directive because in the ocean there are fish species which their growth is not more than 1.5 inches. Despite destruction of illegal fishing nets and the government giving directives on the issue of nets, we would like to know, following changes made on this directive, what will the government do regarding paying all who their fish gears were destroyed? If we encourage fishing of special areas, yes, we do collect fines to all who violate the boundaries set. But are we planning to educate fishermen on how to abide in fishing at special areas? Unfortunately, when one wishes to have their own special areas, there are tough procedures, even at higher costs. There is a challenge of policies that will allow us to get good quality leather products that can be sold within and outside the country.
Vehicle users have complained of potholes on the Mwai Kibaki Road in Kinondoni Municipal that has been increasing and causing traffic jam, car breakdowns, as well as accidents that have been constantly occurring when cars pass each other.
I would like to say that the rains have caused us many problems, and by us I mean bus conductors like myself and bus drivers among others. I would like to point out that, as you can see, the rains cause enormous potholes to form on the roads. I must say that when buses like the ones that I am driving land into such potholes, some major parts of the buses get broken down. I would like to say that we recently hired a company called Mabibo Construction Company to repair the potholes on all the roads that extend within 400 kilometers of this place. However, I am sad to note that just as the company had filled up the potholes, the rains fell once more and spoiled all of our grand plans. Hence, I would like to say once again that because of the rains, we shall have to begin the whole exercise afresh.
The Egyptian ambassador to Tanzania, Mohammed Kabir Abdullahi, said that the cooperation between Tanzania and Egypt will continue to be a pillar between the two countries and urged for cooperation among African countries for the growth of development.
Egypt and Tanzania have enjoyed close historical relations. This year, the two countries are celebrating the 55th anniversary of establishing diplomatic bilateral relations. As an ambassador of Egypt to Tanzania, I cannot help but to notice with growing satisfaction the increasing momentum in the bilateral relations between the two countries, which stems as well from the shared vision of the political leadership of both Egypt and Tanzania, and the strong and cordial ties existing between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and His Excellency President John Pombe Magufuli.
We, as the African Diplomatic Group, decided that we would actually mark this occasion of Africa Month and Africa Day in particular by also focusing on the fact that this is the month of Ramadan, a month of peace, of solidarity, and of deep, deep prayer. So we actually decided that we will, first of all, host this iftar to actually show the solidarity with the people of Tanzania, between ourselves, between various faiths.
Ήθελα σε αυτή την ιερά περίοδο του Ραμαντάν, στο Ραμαζάνι που προσευχόμαστε στο Θεό να στείλω προσευχές προς όλους τους εξοχότατους πρέσβεις.
Thousands of residents from various areas in Kagera region and others who are coming from neighboring regions have come out in droves to receive treatment for various long-standing diseases, treatments which will be provided for free. The treatment will be provided at the Kayanga Health Center located in Karagwe district, and it will be provided by specialist doctors from China.
I would like to first of all praise the President, Dr. John Magufuli, for enhancing ties between Tanzania and China. Secondly, I would like to thank our Chinese doctors for coming here to provide free medical services to our people. And finally, I would like to thank President Dr. John Magufuli for ensuring that these services are provided freely in Karagwe district.
The Chinese embassy is going to support the Chinese medical team to organize 2 medical tours every year and bring advanced medical services to residents in remote areas of Tanzania.
As I am speaking on behalf of the Kagera Regional Commissioner, I would like to call upon the Chinese government to sponsor the studies of Tanzanian doctors in China. I have made this request because when our doctors return from their studies in China, they'll be able to help in the setting up of medium to large-scale pharmaceutical industries.
Over 25,000 residents of Laela town in Sumbawanga district, Rukwa region, have complained of the constant water shortage problems in the town, despite completion of a large water project that cost over 1 billion shillings using solar power. Speaking before the Minister of Water, Professor Makame Mbarawa, they said that despite the project being completed for 3 years, they have continued to miss out on this essential service.
Honorable Minister, they should not lie to you. Water is a problem in Laela. Until we cry, that is when things are done here. We cried for roads, we got them. We cried for electricity, we got it. But all that long, water has been the cry of so many years. But till today, nothing has been done. We're in pain because even money allocated for the project is lost along the way. We don't have water. And when the dry season approaches like right now, it means that we are going to suffer even more. The project is not fulfilling the demands of the city. We rarely get water, sometimes once in 2 months. We already have the contractor and I have given him 2 months instead of 4 months to complete building water infrastructures. If the contractor will have enough manpower, this work can be done even in 3 weeks. And I am sure that here are people who can do something at the construction site.
82 kilograms of gold has been sold at the minerals market in Chunya district in 20 days since the market has been opened under the directive of President Magufuli, enabling the government to collect over 300 million shillings as taxes from the sale of the mineral.
Following President's directive of establishing minerals markets, so far, we have sold 82 kilograms from 2nd of May 2019 to 20th May 2019, where previous records shows that annually only 20 kilograms were sold. From the sales, Chunya district has managed to collect revenues of about 300 million shillings. We pledge to continue having close supervision because we have already discovered that theft were done purposely. Till today, we have collected 6.8 kilograms with a value of 537 million shillings. This move has stimulated miners to sell other legal markets since profits are now obvious. Before establishment of minerals market, they used to sell their minerals at black markets at lower rates, which were not equivalent to global markets.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has continued to meet with officials in his government's ministries, whereby in his ministry with the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure, he directed it to start a Road Safety Week procedure.
We once launched a Road Week and walked from Bowani Hotel to Mnazi Moja Hospital, a means of sensitizing the value of the day, but I'm not sure if that day is still commemorated in Zanzibar. I would urge for the day to be commemorated every year. I am thrilled by work done by this ministry. You have done a wonderful job. Please consider all directives I have given today. Honorable President, on the third phase of the program, the ministry has managed to supervise several projects, carry investigations on causes of road accidents, build capacities, and train employees. We agreed that there shall be inspection of cars before they are allowed to be on the roads. All we want is to ensure that all cars driven on our roads are in good conditions as a means of combating road accidents.
That is all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ebola has continued to kill people in Butembo, with a number of people currently at over 1,200.
There is a group of people who are going around telling others that there is no more Ebola. They did this to hamper the progress in the fight against this disease. Some believed in the past that it was caused by witchcraft, and some claimed that it's not true. It's just a trick to get remuneration. But we know now where the problem is. We were told that there is no more Ebola. We got scared. When we heard that our leaders could say such a thing, so we resisted.
Heads of the armed forces from 25 African countries and the USA have met in Kigali to discuss how to deal with disasters as well as epidemic diseases within the continent.
When disaster strikes in a lot of countries, our forces get involved to a large extent in leadership. Cooperation then with the United States is very important because when we meet, we learn from them about disaster and how we can protect ourselves and treat disease outbreaks such as Ebola. We are gradually trying to put in place training that will help us deal with disasters, working with civil union. The general public should support us. The Army's intervention in strengthening support given by relief organizations across Africa.
The Civil Societies Union in Kenya has launched a report that details the corruption saga in recent years, with the union questioning if the government of Kenya has been kidnapped by corrupt government officials.
Why do these reform efforts keep failing? They fail because they do not address the real problem. The real problem is the union of corruption and politics. What you have is a cabal of insiders who capture the state, and principally, not all of the state, principally the presidency, treasury, and the security. Because that's all you need to capture a state. Capture power, capture money, and capture intelligence. If you capture those three permanently, you've basically captured the state. The modern state is actually a very easy thing to capture if you think about it.
The German constitution turns 70 this week. It was implemented in the wake of World War II to prevent history from repeating itself. It remains very relevant today as well as internationally, as a number of African states have looked to it for inspiration when writing their own constitution. With more on this is our Deutsche Welle correspondent, Malte Rover-Kalman. Malte, let's look back 70 years. Why was Germany's basic law created back then?
Yes, we really have to see this in the historical context of Germany back then, just a few years after the Second World War. Germany was largely destroyed. It was occupied by the Allied forces, and the big question was how can we prevent this from happening again, this dictatorship, and how can we move back to a democracy? And this is what 65 delegates were tasked with, coming up with a constitution that ensures exactly that, that says never again are we going back to those dark times. And they came off with the German basic law that was introduced back then 70 years ago, with this very strong first article that says that human dignity shall be inviolable. And this first article, and in fact the entire constitution, still stands today, 70 years later, and is in place.
So Malte, what is its relevance outside of Germany?
Yeah, it's exactly. Not only inside Germany has this guided daily life and the political system for the last 70 years, but also other nations, younger democracies, have looked to it for inspiration. Just to name a few from the African continent, there were Namibia, Ethiopia, or Cameroon, who have looked to the German basic law when they wrote their own constitutions. And this is also true for South Africa, who in 1994, with the end of apartheid, found itself in a very similar situation to Germany after the Second World War, where they came from a really dark period and needed to transition from that and made sure that they would never fall back into those times again. And this is why in the South African constitution, there are still some elements of this German constitution that was written 70 years ago.
So 70 years on, is it still up to date?
Yes, and also no. So yes, the German constitution has been amended a couple of times. There have been new things have been added to update it, and also there's the German Constitutional Court, which is quite strong in providing guidelines on how to read the constitution. So that makes it remain quite flexible, and it can be adapted to changing times. But still, some people say this isn't going far enough. They're calling for a bigger update of the constitution to make sure it matches modern times. 70 years ago, when people were writing the constitution, they couldn't foresee certain things, say the digital revolution, say climate change, or say globalization. So what these people are saying is we need a basic law 2.0, we need a really strong update. But they're not saying we need a complete rewrite. And I think that goes to show that really the German basic law has stood the test of time 70 years on.
Thank you very much, Malte, for that insight into the German constitution. And that special report ends our international news, but we will be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Mobile company Tigo has said that it will continue to improve communication services as it is a key factor for development, especially as Tanzania heads towards becoming a middle-income industrial economy.
Communication is very important in investment. To achieve middle income by 2025, we promise our customers that Tigo will continue to invest in Tanzania and increase telecommunication coverage, particularly in rural areas.
Over 1,400 onion farmers at Mangola area in Karatu district who have had their long-running problem with harvest spoiling have found a resolution after IFAD built them 3 modern warehouses to store the harvest.
We implore Honorable President to help us find a market, or better still, if it's possible, to help us build a factory for value addition. Because this way things will go smoothly. After harvesting, we do value addition.
And the importance for us to come and visit this project goes with the success the project has been having.
Mobile company Airtel Tanzania has launched a new Tamba Mitandao Yote service which will enable customers of the company to call all other networks in Tanzania for 1 shilling a second.
This will enable the consumer to call any network once you've topped up credit for 1 shilling per second, to send SMS as well as access internet at an affordable cost. When you top up 500 Tanzanian shilling credit, you'll get 8 minutes, whereby previously It was just 1.5 minutes.
Kwamba yale maduka yetu ya Airtel Money branches sasa
We've increased the number of Airtel shop branches to 650, meaning now customers can easily get access to services. We would like to urge our customers to verify their number biometrically so you can use new products.
Huduma hizi kabambe ambazo tumekuletea na hasa kutumia huduma hii ya leo ambayo tumeizindua.
And that's where we leave off with business news. Sports is next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip hop, a hip it, the hip it, the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
with Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And in sports, Sevilla Football Club have promised some good football tomorrow when they play the soon-to-be champions of Tanzania, Simba Sports Club, at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam.
Agradecer a todas las autoridades y a todas las personas que están en esta gira, porque desde que llegamos todos están ayudándonos y todos están teniendo con nosotros un trato excepcional, que sin duda dice que Tanzania está preparado para.
The Simba Sports Club Board of Directors Chair Mohamed Dewji has said that they will extend their coach Patrick Osem's contract after he led them to the championship for a second season in a row.
Mungu akitujalia kwenye wiki moja,
God willing, in 1 week we will give him a 1-year contract so that we can proceed with him. He already knows about our country, Tanzania. He knows our players. He knows Simba Sports Club's philosophy. He knows the culture of our country, our players, and that of Simba.
Tuseme culture ya nchi yetu na wachezaji wetu na Simba.
With a weary Kawhi Leonard fighting through fatigue, the Toronto Raptors found just enough energy to pull away from the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's more.
Kyle Lowry led the way. He scored 25 points. Leonard had 19, and the Raptors bet the Milwaukee Bucks 120-102 to even the Eastern Conference Finals at 2 games apiece. Leonard played 52 minutes in a double overtime win in Game 3 on Sunday, despite dealing with leg soreness. He limped away from the basket following a third-quarter dunk in the Game 4, but still toughed it out for 34 minutes. I feel good, Leonard insisted. I'm going to keep going and keep fighting. We have a chance to make history.
The Director General of the Qatari television group Bain is under investigation for corruption by the French authorities, who suspect he paid bribes in a bid to help Doha host the World Athletics Championships.
Youssef Al-Obaidli, who is also on the board of directors at Paris Saint-Germain, is also under judicial investigation for aggravated money laundering, according to Le Monde. The paper also says that Lamine Diack, the disgraced former head of the IAAF athletics governing body, is also facing passive corruption charges by the National Financial Office. The case centers around two payments totaling $3.5 million, which was sent in October and November 2011 at the time when Qatar was bidding to host the 2017 World Athletics Championships and 2020 Olympics. While those bids failed, Qatar later won a right to host the 2019 World Athletics Championships.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.
We want Tanzania to be a role model. We want Tanzania to say to the world, we don't attack persons with albinism. We value them, we respect them.
Hapa ulipo wewe ni mjamzito, Sio. Sasa ukimzoea yule binti atakuambukiza utaanza ujaubilo. Mimi sitaki. Sitaki. Nani kakwambia ualbino na?
Catch us this Saturday at 9 p.m. only on Capital Television, your channel of choice.